Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Dr. Marla Goldberg, and welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations podcast. So today my guest is Monica Ramirez. Monica, the warrior of love, is a transformational belief coach. She helps healers, coaches, and energy workers to connect to a higher consciousness and heal within so that they can believe in themselves more deeply, take decisive action in their own lives, and facilitate more profound transformations with their own clients. She uses NLP, BQH, channeling, and quantum healing techniques to access and reprogram the motherboard of your being so that you can shed the unhelpful beliefs that hold you back, connect to the higher realms, and fulfill your personal and business potential. She is the best-selling author of Amazon, that you can find in Amazon, for Transformation in Metamorphosis, founder of Path to the Heart, a transformational system. Welcome, Monica.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to your show
I'm so
and to your audience.
you're on. So thank you for being here. So, Monica, we all start somewhere, right? Our journey, many people can be born with early memory, but many bloom across the course of their life. When did your journey begin?
Well, I started learning telepathy when I was 4 years old. I come
Wow.
from a gifted family, and but it was not always used in the right way. And I bet that happens to many families that they have the gifts, but they don't know how to use it, or they use it in the wrong way. And through my all my childhood until I was a teenager, I I was a poet and a painter and so forth, and I thought that inspiration came from me until I discovered later on when one of my guides started. I was writing a poem and it started and was hearing a beautiful poem and I was just writing it down, and then I look up and there he was, and it's like, oh my God, you're the poet, and since then I call him the poet.
Do we know who he is? Who he used to be in bodily form?
No, he is from Pleiades. He's never been
Okay.
human. He's never been human.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you started and you found your poet. Does he still channel poems to you?
Yes, we do. But I've been also an artist. I've been an artist for 47 years, painter mainly.
Nice.
So the same thing apply. I was painting and painting, and I thought inspirations, like many artists, we think that inspiration comes from us. It do come from us, but at the same time, we're getting inspired. The ones that we call muses. Those
Yes.
are precisely the messages or images that we're receiving when we're channeling, because everybody do it.
Everybody does. I heard John Lennon. He would wake up in the middle of the night and write these song lyrics down. But one of my teachers said, yeah, it was downloaded from spirits outside of himself. And it's just an interesting thing because as humans, of course, we take credit. Like Mozart, I mean, he was the vessel, but he was also the physical mechanic that played the piano.
Yes,
You know,
that's a hard part to understand for many artists, because we all channel. Every single human being, it doesn't matter you're an artist or you're not, you can be a scientist. And those moments of inspiration or knowing how you're going to fix something, where in reality do you think it comes from? Yes, you can be the smartest and brilliant mind in the world, but those moments of inspiration comes from somewhere.
yes. It's like the brilliance that like all of a sudden some brilliance comes to you and it's like, oh, isn't that amazing? I did it. But did you really? Is the question with a giant question mark. So it's so funny. Now you had a physically challenging period of time in your life. I mean, there was lupus, there was, I can't remember the whole list of things, but you were really challenged and then you
Yes.
healed yourself. So let's talk about the challenges and how you did that.
Yes, well, when you're trying to fit in so hard, like many of our viewers, we forget who we truly are. And in that time, I was running with the program. That was before I have all the certifications and all these things. I I have us running with a program that a woman is nobody if doesn't have a man next to her. And
Mm-hmm.
my father was dying in that moment. So I grabbed the first man that it was available and we married. And that's when I was start getting beaten and so forth. And I was
Oh,
in a horrible marriage. And that's when I got sick with lupus, RA, fibromyalgia. Um, what else? It was, of course, depression. And then I even ended with epilepsy with that one.
with
And
epilepsy, did you say?
yes,
Oh,
for one
wow.
year. And for one year. And that's, I came to understand a bunch of things because I provoked myself that sickness. I did not have then the guts to actually. I was living a very miserable life. I just had a daughter, and I was not gonna grab a gun and shoot me because I just had a daughter. So for me, it was easier in that moment to provoke myself as a sickness. Obviously, we always do these things unconsciously. We are not
Mm-hmm.
going to say, "Oh, I'm going to provoke myself a deadly sickness."
Yes.
Never, no one think about that, but subconsciously we do. So I did that, and to heal myself, I have to learn. Well, that's when I started learning all these techniques and so forth. So I did the inner work. Why do I provoke lupus? And that's when I realized that all the sickness are psychosomatic. I have heard of that before, but I was not putting attention in that because I was too focused on the poor me. When I stopped being the victim and I started understanding that I provoked that myself, that sickness, that I have put a bottom of auto destruction, then I have to reverse that. And to reverse that, I have to come to understand that first, I was responsible of choosing the life that I have chosen, including that marriage.
Yes.
I was responsible of putting that bottom of auto destruction because I was very unhappy. So I have to again fall in love with life and start loving myself enough so like that I can heal myself.
Yes.
Yes, in all this process, that's when I surrender to spirit, and that's when I start receiving challenge messages and so forth. And Marla, something happened very funny. When I was trying to heal myself, even if I was doing the inner work, change my dietary and so forth, and I already let go my marriage and so forth. That's when my guides in one of my dreams came. And I was still swollen and in pain and, and depressed. And she told me in my dream, "You want to get rid of it? Are you ready to get rid of all this pain and change it?" And I said, "Yes, please take me out of here." And I don't know, I imagine just changing to a new timeline that would work. And she took me to a precipice in my dream. And she told me, "Okay, jump." And the first thing I thought is like all the programming is like, "Oh, you died," and my fears came up. "If you died in your sleep, you're not gonna wake up." And I told her, and she told me, "Well, it's very simple. You can go back to your bed, and you're gonna continue the life like you have it, or you can jump. That's your choice." And I just started thinking in all my life and the pain that I was going through physically, mentally, spiritually, in all the ways, and I just opened my arms and jump.
Your leap of faith.
Yes, and the fears,
Yes.
I confront my biggest fear of death. That probably that's what it was keeping me alive, that fear. But it was needing to release that fear so actually I can live a happy life. When I came back to the reality, because that was in a dream, or
Yes.
happened in a dream, I realized that the door where it was not there. It was in somewhere else. And I went to sleep at night, and it was daylight, and I was like, oh my God, do I slept that many hours? Because it looked like noon. And I realized, like, no, and where's the door? Why the door is not here and the door is over there? And I started jumping in timelines in that moment. And I realized it took me about 2 weeks that to understand that what it was happening, because I thought I was getting crazy. And when that happened, I finally started asking for help to the universe. Like, okay, now I think I need to go to a psychiatrist, or something is really happening really wrong with me. I'm really getting crazy. Maybe all my family was right. and I asked for help, and help came. It came with a teacher, and I explained her, hey, I think I'm getting crazy. I don't know what is happening to me. And she told me, oh, you're jumping in timelines. So what she's helping me, it is to focus in the timeline that I wanted to be.
Nice.
And I have the best potential in that timeline. I can choose, and the power of choosing what you really want to live. And then after that, my guides started helping me too. And since then, I have about 7 years without any flare-ups, any pains. I don't take medications for that at all anymore. And my life just started changing and changing. And when my friends that they saw me, because for I was sick for more than 15 years.
Wow.
So my friends that knew me before, because everybody, oh, Monica's gonna come, their legs are gonna be swollen, or she's gonna be in pain, because I was also in victimhood. I was like, oh, poor me. and
Hmm.
uh, and they saw the shift and the change, because it was very fast. They're like,
Wow.
what you did? And that's when I started analyzing what I did, and it was a lot of was the inner work that I did. Yes, I have the diet, a new diet, and so forth. Became pescatarian and so forth. But even with all that, that was not it. It was the inner work. It was starting to fall in love again with life, and loving myself and forgiving me for the wrong choices that I have done.
Isn't that amazing? I'm also a self-love expert, and I talk about self-love quite a bit. And yes, the forgiveness part is so important because we make choices that don't serve us well, and we make those choices to learn from them. And if we don't learn from them, guess what happens? It'll happen over and over and over again, right?
Yes.
And it's like Groundhog Day. And the same thing with learning how to accept yourself, in the moment, in the place you are now, and not think about what you might have looked like when you were in your 20s or
Mhm.
teens, or what, it's where you are. I like to say warts, wrinkles, and all, learning how to accept all of you inside and out, the good and the bad, because, the duality of life, the shadow work makes such a difference.
Yes.
Did you do a lot of shadow work
Yes.
in
That,
your process?
like I tell my students all the time, it is like, unfortunately, human beings, we don't learn from our successes. We learn from our mistakes. So I am a true believer that we have to do shadow work. People are so afraid, it's like shadow or dark or dense energy, and people are afraid of that. But that's where is the lesson. That's where we can actually change it. We have to go there. So yes, the shadow work is very, very crucial for to make that change. It is scary, and sometimes it can be painful. It's as painful as we want to, because that's a choice too. But when we do that work, we confront our own shadows. That's when we can do the change.
It's taking responsibility of not, like you said, we don't usually pay a lot of attention on the bad. I mean, on the good. We really focus on the bad, and it's the bad that then limits us and brings to us. I know you look at it as more psychosomatic. I look at it as, I don't disagree with you. I'm just looking at it more of our negative and limiting belief systems, our patterns. That's what affects us. I was very much in a similar situation as you with my first marriage. I ended up with chronic fatigue, sleeping for 2 years, and it wasn't until I started going to a homeopath who started opening me up to the whole mind body spirit connection. and going through it to be able to heal.
Hmm.
And that was just a couple of years before I actually stepped on my spiritual path. But you talk about it as psychosomatic. So let's talk about why you believe the illnesses, all illnesses are psychosomatic.
Well, I only can talk about my own experience. I cannot talk about the experience of everybody else because I know I do the inner work. Every time I get sick from whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, I go, okay, why is this is happening to me?
Yes.
Why I provoke this sickness? And you're gonna find it all the time. Every time you ask the question, you're gonna receive the answer if you're open to listen. And then your own body, you can channel your own body, and your own body is gonna tell you, oh, you remember that you did not felt enough, or that you do not deserve this dream, or remember that trauma when you were 5 years old and they took the lollipop away from you, whatever it was. It's going to show up in your memory, it's going to show up in your field. So you have to do that inner work.
It's so important.
And that every time I get sick from anything, I have healed myself. And I start working with that with some of my clients, that they were having depressions or they were having different illness, and we start working with that. And I discovered this amazing book from Louise Hayes, "You Can Heal Your Life,"
Yes.
and every time I'm searching for a sickness and the solution of the sickness and why we provoke that sickness, it is so on point, so on point. And like that, you can find tons of books that they talk about what it is for. Like right now, in my new challenge, that I got a high blood pressure, and it's like, oh, okay, since when this is happening in reality? Because this is now the fact that I ended in the hospital. So okay, what happened is like what happened. It was 2 years ago. I got a very heartbroken. My mother died and so forth,
I'm sorry.
and but it's a journey at the same time to heal myself now, because now I know what is the problem, when it happened, when it started. So now I have to do the inner work. So I like that. I don't depend on getting those pills or high blood pressure.
I understand. And I have to tell you, it so resonates. I said on one of my announcements how your life and mine sort of parallel and our beliefs, and we have different modalities. But I told you before that I got on the show, I recently fractured my elbow. And this year, I had January, February, March, I had gotten sick for a week each month. It's the same thing. It ends up being allergies. But at the time, I felt I was like I had the worst flu in the world, and I just couldn't move and lethargic. And then I had this accident, and it's like, aha, Spirit has been telling me to slow down, to back off of everything that I'm doing. And because I always laugh because when I talk about it, it's like Spirit like will nudge you. And if you don't listen, it nudges you harder until it gets to be a push or a knock over the head. And my feeling is those 3 weeks, one in each month of the first 3 months. And I wasn't slowing down as much as Spirit thought I should or felt I should. So they fractured my elbow to help me see the light and to restructure the way I'm living my life. And I've decided, okay, you don't have to hurt me any further. I heard you. I am going to honor what you're telling me through these situations, and they will come through that way.
Yes, they do. It's like you better listen to it, because it is the best, like I told my students, is the best GPS integrated system that every single human has. It is not exclusively for just certain people in the world. Everybody can do it. The thing is, are you willing to surrender to spirit? Are you willing to actually believe in yourself, what you're listening and hearing, and you're being guided? Are you gonna be willing to let go the fear so actually you can connect? There's too much programming in the world that is being that you cannot talk directly to source or to your angels or whatever you want to connect.
And there's so many people that are afraid to do the work because they're afraid of what they might feel again. They're going through all the pain of whatever it is, not taking it away, but a lot of people don't want to do it, especially if it means you have to, through the process, sort of face or acknowledge or
Mhm.
own what has happened. So they prefer to live in their life of pain and misery and depression than go into a place where, yeah, you might have to face it again. Like I do past life regression, and you go back into a time, a life that you have a similar situation of one of the things that's going on in your life to heal it. But people are afraid of wanting to feel it again, that it's going to be too much because they were so traumatized.
Yes, I totally understand that part, and I totally agree with you because it can be very, very painful. The part I don't understand about hypnotherapy is like we do regressions and so forth, that
Yes.
when you go back in any of the memories, you're gonna be just observer.
Right.
You don't,
Neutral.
yes, you don't have to relieve it, and that goes with any of the healing that you do. The painful, the aspect you're gonna be doing it as painful as you choose.
Yes.
It don't has to be painful to become just observer. It is not the same as being the person again passing through the same thing.
That's so true. So let me ask you a question. You have a new book, and it is called Transformation Metamorphosis. Wait a minute, in Metamorphosis. Let's talk about the book and how that works. Oh, beautiful cover.
Thank
For
you.
everybody who's just listening to the audio version, go on to Amazon and check out this book because the cover is amazing. So let's talk about what's inside the actual cover.
Well, that's actually one of my paintings on one of my past lives. In fact, the this book it is about basically about I talk about my becoming responsible, getting out to being a victim. In this book, basically, is how to, and it comes with a lot of exercises how to let go shame and blame, and how to start empowering yourself and start learning how to love yourself at the same time. Because I believe that's the basis from everything. I have many students that they want to start channeling, but they still in a lot of fear because all the
Yes.
programming that they have to fear anything that is they think that is outside of them. So this is the basic. This is the book is the basic because like that you can have to let go the fear. You have
Yes.
to start believing in yourself. You
Yes.
have to become responsible, letting go the shame and the blame. And in the way I teach, I always leave homework to my students. So in this book, I put a lot of exercises that you do the exercises and the inner work. You're actually gonna see a change in yourself.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that book. I'm really interested in seeing what you've got, in the processes, which are wonderful. Now, when you work with your clients, you typically channel, correct? Because we were talking about channeling.
Yes.
So, how are the messages or the information that you get helpful to your clients?
Well, when I'm working with my clients one on one or even giving talks, I'm always channeling. That's I am always connected. That's something that I chose a while back to embody my higher self. And yes, I have of course moments. I'm still human, so obviously I have moments that I get disconnected when I get into any of self doubt or things like that because I'm still working with myself like everybody else.
Yes.
That's a misconcept that they have. If you're a healer or a coach, you have to be perfect and your life have to be perfect. No, we're still humans. We still have dealing with our traumas. We're still dealing with our stuff. So when I'm channeling, when I have a client, I do channel as many times that when they're needing to learn a lesson or they're saying one thing and they're not being coherent in another thing. So my guides are telling me, okay, ask them about this, ask them about that.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, we can get the right information that is going to trigger actually an emotion that they're going to be honest with themselves, because it doesn't matter if they're honest with me, but what is matters is if they're honest with themselves, so
Well,
they can have a change in their life.
which is fabulous because taking responsibility is the first step. Taking ownership that you have an issue, or that you own that you don't have the life you want to have, or own that you have all these maladies and you want to come to find out how, why am I struck with XYZ, illnesses, and chronic ones at that, because the majority of people that are carrying like RA, fibromyalgia, nerve pain, migraines, whatever it is, they're carrying it through their life and they don't have to, is what we're saying. Am I correct in that?
Yes, even
Yes.
depression, uh, an emotion that you can carry all your life. I have known people that all their lives they're being depressed, and
Yes.
it can come from this timeline, or it can come from a past lives. Not
Yes.
only one, it can come from many. But at the same time, if they're not putting intention, what do they want from their in this life? They're always going to continue with the same pattern because they don't know they can change it.
Or they don't want to change it. They're afraid to change it. They don't believe in changing it. I mean, there's so many limiting beliefs that people carry, or projections that are negative at a certain thing instead of trying it. You may like it.
And another thing, there's something that I have discovered, that are people that are addict to being the victim because they
Yes.
get too much attention from everybody else.
It's a benefit program.
Yes.
And getting the attention is one of the reasons to have it. But you're still, the majority of the time, you may get attention for maybe a few minutes a day from friends, family, whatever. But at a certain point, they're going to get darn tired of you constantly complaining and feel sick and not being able to do this, that, or the other thing, and in your life.
And you're getting the wrong attention, pity. Do you really want to wake up pity from other people? Is self-respect will be way better than feeling the compassion and pity instead of actually respect and
Yes.
love.
And you will love yourself more
Mhm.
if you handle your issues directly than trying to, go to everybody else in the world to do it. You'll love yourself more. And, as I also mentioned, I don't know if you heard any of my announcements or not, but, I talk about, we as humans are brought here to have challenges and to have issues, not to get stuck in them, not to wallow in them. And it doesn't make a difference if it's mental, physical, or emotional, but we're here to work through them, to heal through them, so that we can live the life we're all divinely meant to live, which is one of joy and passion, and flow.
Yes.
We're not here to get stuck and be miserable, though you give us a lot of work to do when you stay that way. But
The thing is, they're part of the programming. I always go back with the programming because that's where everything radicates in all our programming. And unfortunately, a lot of religions, I don't want to mention which ones, but the people that are listening, they might recognize this, that you're not going to be happy while you're alive. You're going to be happy until you die and you go and sit down next to the Father. And that's just a programming. We don't came to suffer. We came here to learn, grow, expand our conscience, and to change our reality. Came here to be happy.
yes,
And
fruitful,
yes,
flowing.
and that's where the programming is what gets us stuck. We think the more that we suffer life, we're gonna be happier dead. It's like, then what was the point? That was useless time of us in this
Yes.
plane. But unless they want to continue with the same programming, they're going to continue being as miserable as they are, and that's a choice too.
And choice is so important. I talk about choice a lot. Actually, that was my conversation that I was supposed to do on Blue Talk, was about choice. Um, yeah, choice is really powerful because we as adults make over 33,000 choices a day. And how do they affect you? How do they affect those around you? Because it's a domino effect or a ripple effect, however you want to look at it. So let's talk about learning to forgive. And and how that plays a role in self love, because that's such an important topic, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, we when we are carrying the actually hate or we cannot forgive someone, we're in reality we're not damaging that person because that person probably even forgot about us. But we are carrying that energy in our field.
Yes.
So, and maybe we're not forgiving that person because we're feeling ashamed, because we are feeling guilty for whatever we happened with that person. And we're going to continue carrying it and get stuck in our body, in our field. It's not only in our energy field, in our own body, that can convert in actually in sickness.
Yes.
More that we release that fear or that shame and blame and that guilt, and we start forgiving ourselves, we can understand that we can forgive the other person easier because we can come to understand that no one can give us something that they don't have for
True.
themselves. And that can create a big game changer when we are needing to have compassion for someone else that wrong us. um, I come from a narcissist family. That was my talk in Harvard
Yeah.
when we met. I come from a narcissist family that I was needing to understand that so I can forgive my family and then I can forgive myself and get into because my life choices then were looking for an abusive marriage, getting sick and so forth because I don't thought I deserved better. And then I start guilting everybody about it, and that's how I got sick. In the moment I forgive my husband, the abuser, or I start forgiving my family, that's how I start healing myself, and that was part of the inner work to
Do
do.
you have any tips for people to start learning how to forgive themselves and how to forgive others?
I always put all my clients to first of all write. Why writing is so important? Because when we're thinking something how to fix it and so forth, our mind can goes to, oh, I haven't go to the supermarket, oh, I haven't gone to the bank, and your mind will go everywhere.
Yes.
But when you're writing, you're focusing your attention in whatever you want to focus. So that's why I put them to write, and I always will recommend is like, okay, start writing down what do you feel guilty first, then what do you feel ashamed of, and then who you're so mad at someone, and even it's yourself, take it as a separate entity, like it is not you. I am mad at Monica because she did this and this and this and this. I am mad at my mother because she did this and this. Okay, now start analyzing. Okay, I am mad because of my mother because she didn't have the capacity to love. Okay, now you can start feeling actually compassion for her because you understand that she did not love herself at the same time. So how she was gonna love me when she did not love herself?
Right. It's true.
And it was easier to forgive her for what she didn't have for herself.
Yes.
And then I reacted in this way because I did not feel love, but I can have compassion for myself because I was looking for being loved. And that's why I compromised too much or I did this too much or people pleaser or whatever it was. But now I can see it and now I can change it. The next time I encounter the same situation, I am not going to people please. I am going to respect and honor myself because this time I love myself. I know what I like and I know what I don't like.
Which then comes to the conversation of boundaries. Because what you're saying is with the forgiveness, there are boundaries that you put up, and the boundaries are to keep, to keep yourself respecting yourself and considering yourself and treating yourself the way you deserve to be treated, opposed to taking, secondhand garbage from somebody else.
Yes.
It makes a huge, huge difference. So let's talk about why is the journey of profound healing and self-trust often described as lonely and confusing?
Well, because in the moment we start changing ourselves and we start not people pleasing and we start putting the boundaries that we're talking about, the people that were used to walk all over us, they're not gonna like it. So we might have to start making the choice: do we want to continue being friends, or seeing these people and continue being abusing, letting ourselves abuse by this person, or we just can turn around and walk away. And if that includes even marriage, well, that's also your choice.
Yes.
But first, you have to start putting boundaries. So like that, you can start shifting, and that is what it make it more lonely, because you might have to let go friends, family, or husbands, or whoever it is, and that's scary. It's not going to say it was easy, or it have not been easy for even for my clients or for myself. You have to let go of so many people in your life, but you don't have to participate in the games of the ego, because that's also a choice. You want to participate in those games.
It's so true. And what also my feeling is that when you start healing, your light starts to shine brighter. And as your light starts shining brighter, your frequency raises. As your frequency raises, the people who have been in your life who haven't done their work, their frequency stays the same. And they might just walk away out of your life rather than you getting rid of them because they can't deal with the person that you're healing into.
And that doesn't mean that we cannot change anyone.
No.
The only person that we can change is ourselves. But
Yes.
we have to understand that everybody has their own path and their own journey. They might change in the future, they might not. That's their choice. And you
Right.
cannot do anything about that, for as painful as it can be. You cannot do anything about that.
And the most important thing to realize is the only thing you can change is yourself. I'm reiterating. And many people want to change somebody else.
Yes.
And it's like, Joe, no. If, for example, if you're attracted to someone and you like their personality and their energy, then accept them from who they are. Yes, you have to work out some kinks in the hose, so to speak. But if you're going to start wanting to change them, then you really didn't care for them as who they were to begin with.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's very important to understand that part, that you cannot change anyone. And sometimes it can be your kids that you
Hmm.
say, oh my gosh, they're doing all these things wrong and so forth. And that's also self judgment, judgment to other person. And when you understand that actually you only can live your own life, and the only person that you can change, it is you. And when you're judging someone, maybe there's a part of you that is showing up to you because you're projecting yourself. That's when you realize you want to really be free.
Yes.
You have to stop judging others and what other people think about you. It is their own projection. It doesn't have to do anything with you. It has to do with themselves.
And what you also, I believe, need to understand too is when people do things to you, that's a reflection of who they are. They're showing you exactly who they are
Yeah.
and nothing more.
Yes. And that's
So
those are lessons very hard to understand because we were not taught about those things.
we're never taught about those things. Well, we are today, it's talked about more, but I know when I was growing up, that wasn't in my mother's purview or any of my caretakers' purviews. No, not at all. And so it's can be, learning it sooner will just open up your life faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very hard for actually to the people understand this part because we want to change. We think we're right, and there's what other people think it is or do. It is actually wrong. But it's the life experience of every person. If someone has to go and suffer whatever it is, because, like I mentioned at the beginning,
Yes.
we are um, we are just experiencing. That we're just experiencing life, and everybody has their own mission and their own path, and we cannot leave their path and we cannot leave their mission. This is
Yeah.
a very personal work.
And sometimes when people come into our lives that are very controlling,
Mm,
they're trying to direct us, but that again, it's about them. It's more important that they direct themselves and let everybody go their path. And they're going to trip. They're going to fall. They're going to, you know, have a face plant here and there, not physically, but in life. And that's okay, knowing it's temporary and you can change the circumstance. You don't have to have that face plant again.
Something that I came to understand about controlling people, it is because they're trying to control their life. They're
Yes,
trying to control their thoughts or their emotions, whatever it is. So it's easier for them, instead of controlling themselves, to trying to control someone else because they don't have control over themselves.
right.
It's a projection at the end.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm on your team with that. Yoo-hoo, yes. Okay, I need to take a pause here for a second. It's charity shout out time. So, charity shout out time is our time to share my guests' charity of choice. And so, your charity, Monica, is Infinite Love. What is the charity about? Why are you passionate? And how can the listeners help?
Well, Infinite Love, it is a meditation center in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas. And they're doing is amazing, and it's a big shout out for all of them and for all the board. And because what they're doing is trying to raise the vibration. I have gone many times in there, and I have met many people. It's the first time meditating, and that is wonderful because they're waking up that part. So the people start doing the inner work. Because if we wanted to create a change, we have to start going within. And in South Texas, where I live, there's not much centers like this. You're not going to find many people actually understanding all these concepts that we're talking right now.
Yes,
And in there, they're going to find different meditations, and they're bringing different speakers. They're bringing different or Buddhist writers, and teaching all these classes where the people are raising the vibration, so we can change actually all this area that is, we're in the border with Mexico. So
which is so challenging.
yes, it is.
Very challenging. I think the people on the other side of the border who are trying to get in, I think meditation would be helpful in their plight.
Well, the people that live here, they have the same challenge because a lot of them, they have never gone more to the north of the United States. Many people, they were born, raised here, and that's it. So they don't know even better. So bringing all these speakers, or bringing showing the meditation, yoga, etc., qigong, and it's starting to change the way they're
Yes.
thinking and expanding their own conscience. And that's why they have all my support, and that's why I suggested for this.
It sounds so beautiful. So, how can people help? Well, I mean, I know money is always like the number one thing people say that you could do, but how else are you able to help, or the listener?
Volunteering, promoting, also of course help, because it's a nonprofit, and they still, all the nonprofits, we also have they have a problem with, paying all the bills and so forth, because people
Yes.
do not value our work enough. They think, okay, great, I go and eat and have meditation, and I don't have to pay anything. Yes, but the rent and the light and the water still needs to get paid. So they need support, or
All
they can
right.
this.
So, audience, listening audience, check out loveisinfinite.org. Try to donate whatever you can, because whatever you can will help keep this center not just alive, but growing and thriving to help more to raise consciousness. As they say, with each meditation you do, it's like raising the consciousness of 72 people. So getting a group of people to meditate together is can be infinite in terms of the energy lift and the frequency and how it can help and spread further and further, because it wouldn't be such a bad thing if we all had a higher consciousness, would it? And a higher frequency. So
Yes.
please check it out and help them. All right, Monica, back to you. What are the three pillars of that you use in your work to help individuals transform?
Well, the first one is coherence through thoughts, emotions, and actions. Because if we don't have those three actually aligned, our thoughts are going to tell us, oh, you're worthless or whatever. And your emotions are going to confirm that. And that is going to create your reality. And you're going to act in the way guilting or shaming yourself. So you're gonna be stuck in a loop. So the second one, it is empowering through self-love. Self-love, it is not only to yourself. It is not about narcissism. It's also forgiving others, and actually, you can change your reality with that and self-love. And the last one, it is connection to the universe, because when you're doing the connection, that's when you can get guided, and you can have already your GPS integrated, so you know. Not only do you have to turn to the right instead of to the left, but also what things that you have to work with yourself. So it is basically coherence, empowerment, and connection.
I love that because I think you're spot on in all three of those pillars. And what they do when they're together, it's the triad.
Yes,
Not the triad, but it's a triad that really promotes self-healing, self-love, and to be able to have the life you're divinely meant to live,
yes,
which is so important. So, is it possible for individuals to learn how to channel themselves for
yes,
themselves?
yes. I am a. In fact, right now I'm teaching a master in channeling, because I believe that every single human being can channel. They do channel, but they don't do it aware. Or
Yeah.
even the ones they receive once in a while messages, they don't realize that they can be doing it 24/7 if they want to. So it is just about letting go shame and fears and believing in yourself. So, and it's just about different techniques. You can learn all the techniques, different ways of channeling, from trance channeling, light language, automatic writing, etc., art channeling. There are many other ways of channeling, and or maybe you can do it all, or you can maybe just choose one of them.
So, do you have any specific steps that can be used or practices that can be used to develop the channeling? Something that you could talk about on the air.
Yes, it is. The first one, it will be breath work, because that will connect you and ground you first. Because you have to be in the present moment when you're going to be channeling. You cannot be in the future, and you cannot be in the past. You have to be in the present. And breath work will take you there, and it will ground you. And you will empty your mind, because when the moment you become the observer of your own thoughts and emotions, you will realize that many thoughts, they're not even yours, or many thoughts come from your guides, or many thoughts are something that you were connecting from your ex-mother-in-law that he will hate you, and why you're carrying that. There's no point carrying that. So you can release that is not belong to you, or you can receive the messages from your own inner guidance. Everybody has a higher self, every single human being.
Yes.
So you can connect to your higher self, or you can connect to your angels or your galactics or ascended masters, or whoever you wish to. How higher you're gonna go is more that you believe in yourself. It is as higher you can go. You can go and directly speak to source if that's what you want. There's
Yes.
no limitation in this. The limitations, you put it to yourself.
I love that. That is so true. There are no limitations other than the ones you bring to yourself or you hold on to for yourself.
Yes.
It's powerful. That's really a powerful message. And I hope that you listening out there sort of take that in and replay this, back this up, play it again, and listen to it because it's really a powerful message about letting go and making space for the information to come through you or to you and through you. Because, it's funny, I used to be in my head all the time. My head was just filled 24/7. And I had a friend who was very intuitive, and I would say, how come I can't get that? How come I don't understand that? And when I started meditating and when I started healing and doing the breath work and doing all those practices, then I got information, I got messages, and things started to shift and change. And it's so important for you to listen to what Monica just said again, because it's powerful and it will help to, put you on a path And then you have to trust. I think that's the next term. Do you agree? Trusting what you receive and not questioning it.
Yes, because if you don't believe in yourself, even if they show you what you should or what you should be working with yourself or what you should be doing, you're not going to listen. It is like when you have an intuition that is telling you, hey, you should call so and so because that person needs you right now. You can grab the phone and call that person or just follow it. And maybe you're going to discover that that person was needing you. Or you just don't. And later on, you find out that he was in the hospital and you didn't call. And then you start feeling guilty because you didn't follow your intuition. So
Yes.
more than you start trusting your intuition, you start trusting also your guides. Yes, when you can ask for proof to them. Okay, can you prove this or can you show me again because I do not believe it. You can talk with a friend. You don't have to make so many reference to them. You can talk like we're talking with a friend. Can you prove me
Mhm.
this? I do not believe it, and they will show you again and again as many times you wanted to know. Or you can ask the same question. Okay, the message that you're sending me, I do not understand it. Can you explain me that message in a different way? And they
Yes.
would do it. They're very compassionate and loving beings.
They're your cheerleaders. They
Exactly.
want you to succeed.
Yes.
So it's great. Monica, we're close to the end of the show. We only have a few more minutes. What have I not asked you, or is there something on your mind you'd like to share with the listening audience?
Well, there is a lot of fear in channeling because many of my clients have told me that how about if they get possessed or if they are gonna get communication with a demon. That's your ego talking. Your ego do not like changes. Your ego likes do not like to be going to something new. And every time you're gonna go into a new breakthrough in your life, your ego is gonna appear. So
Yes.
that is not your higher self. That is not even you. That is your limitations talking to you. That is have the name of the ego. So you can change that. It isn't just a matter of choice, because you can choose to actually under getting guided by your higher. It can be your higher self, your divine masters or loved ones.
Guides, guardians.
Yes,
Yeah.
that if you choose that, because they're never gonna try to control you, manipulate you, or tell you what to do. They will suggest you and they will give you options. Like I mentioned when I was in my dream, you can go back to your bed. Everything's gonna be the same, or you can jump. I took the choice to jump, but no one forced me to.
Right.
So no one, they're not gonna force you to do things. So there's no way that you can lose the control of your life because we were all born with a free will. So you can't bring down that shield of fear that is not helping you to connect to the same source. That's who you are. You come from there. You're a light being, living a multidimensional being, living a human experience.
So that's such a great message, and it's so powerful, and it's so true. And thank you for that. I think that whatever comes out in these conversations on guided spirit conversations, they're meant. Whoever's listening, these messages are meant for you, and not in a negative way because spirit doesn't do that. It's to help you get on the path, help you to get the best life that you can live. Get rid of all that stuff you're stuck on, or your negative limiting belief systems. I just heard something from, I'm just sorry I'm jumping, but this just popped into my head. So I'm listening to a book that was channeled by Saint Germain. So for the listeners, if you don't know Saint Germain, he is all about the violet flame, which transmutes negativity and limiting beliefs, etc. And what you had said something earlier, so I don't know why they want me to say it. The fact that you can have a thought, and if you're having that negative thought, but it's neutral and there's no emotion attached to it, then it's just a thought. When you put an emotion, like you get angry or sad or depressed or whatever it is, that's when it takes away the self-love. That's when it breaks down the love that's around you and limits you. And I'm paraphrasing this, but I just thought it was so powerful. And for some reason, they've been nudging me to say this and tell the audience. So here I am.
That is so true. I totally agree with that statement, because a thought, it don't come without an emotion. It just goes past through, like
Right.
many thoughts that we have in our head. But when you put the emotion is the one that is the action in a way. It's gonna make you react in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So be aware of your own emotions. Don't discard your emotions. Those are very important. Sometimes even more important than even the thoughts.
I totally agree. So true. Monica, I have just loved having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and about your techniques and how you work with clients today with everybody. I am so grateful for you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Thank you, Marla. I really appreciate your invitation, and to your listeners, thank you for being listening to me.
And you can find Monica's information on our blog. So you can find her website, her social, the link for her charity, the link for her book. So check out the blog so you can get all of Monica's information. Monica Ramirez, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to tell you, I love my guests because I love what you share. I love, the pureness of the heart and the message behind it. So grateful. Somebody else I'm grateful for, Bridget. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do for me, because you're not only my right arm, you're my left arm as well, and you're my tech wizard, and I am so grateful for it. So thank you. And she's also an artist, and her artwork is amazing, and she helps me with that as well. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your day, out of your life, to be a part of this show, because the show was created for you, to bring to you the most amazing individuals like Monica, to share what they do and how they help, and leave a little trail of tips and techniques so that you could incorporate them into your daily life experience. Okay, next week I have Adam C. Hall. So please tune in for myself and Adam. Adam is committed to helping individuals, companies, and organizations unlearn the beliefs, habits, and behaviors that shield them from discovering their purpose, mission, and cause. My terminology would be helps you get rid of those limiting beliefs, those limiting behaviors, and those not so great habits that we all have, so that you can live the life you're divinely meant to live. So please tune in next Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time, as Adam C. Hall is my next guest. Okay, I'm going to send you on your way. Wishing you the most incredible weekend. Be safe. It's summertime. Enjoy. If you're hot, please find shelter. Please take care of your four-legged babies. Make sure that they have food, water, and shelter to keep them cool. The weather's been really weird across the United States. Some places really hot, some places really cold. But whatever it is, please take care of yourself and your beings. As I leave you, as always, I send you love, blessings, and gratitude. I am so grateful that you are in my life in whatever capacity you're in it, for not only are you my student, you're my teacher. And not only am I a teacher, I am your student. So thank you. And I'm going to say these 3 words to you. I love you. You are loved, not just by family and friends, not just by me, but you have so many beings on the other side of the veil that are your biggest cheerleaders and want to see you heal and succeed and live the life you're divinely meant to live. Here's the golden ticket. You need to ask for what you want, because they don't have free will to intervene on their own. So ask them in as much detail as you can for what you need, want, and desire. And then the second part of the golden ticket is pay attention to how the information comes, because it may come very directly, but a lot of times it's not. It comes through quotes, and you overhear a conversation, or you see a movie on TV, or a poem pops up, or a lyric in music. So be open to how this information is going to come to you. And if you find that it's not what you want, ask again. But know that if you have to wait a little bit, it's because you're still needing to heal or change something that's going on in your life, so that they can then bring it to you. You're just not ready at that moment. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen and that you're wasting your breath. You're not. They hear you and they want you to be happy and healthy and productive and abundant. Okay, I will see you next week. Take care. Sending you lots of love.